हाँ गुड मॉर्निंग टेल मी हाँ कुछ नहीं।
Hello and welcome to Bioingene webinars. Bioingene is a non-profit organization created to
Audio is not
promote
coming, Shubham.
plant science research worldwide. This is an open platform from which plant scientists can present the current advancements of their research to the world. We hope future scientists can gain perspective and inspiration hearing the esteemed plant researchers talk about their scientific accomplishments and views on building the future of plant sciences. We are thankful to the speakers and viewers of our Bioengine family for your interest in the webinar series and for your appreciation of our efforts. You can register for Bioengine webinars through our website bioengine.com or our social media page.
Okay, let's start. Sir, I'm starting with your intro and bioengine. And when we are asking for the sharing of your screen, you can start, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going for the live and recording.
Pages. You are live viewing this webinar and you can watch it again later on the Bioengine YouTube channel. So please remember to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our events. After attending today's talk, you can apply for a certificate of participation via the feedback link, which will be provided in the YouTube chat after the presentation. Please type in your questions related to today's talk in the YouTube chat box for the Q&A session. Today, we have a special session on Bioingene. We are thrilled to host an inspiring conversation that brings together science, policy, economics, and agriculture, all the vital pieces of the future of sustainable farming and plant biology. It is our honor to introduce today's distinguished speaker, Dr. Amarender Reddy. He has contributed to impactful agricultural research and thoughtful policy making in India and beyond. Dr. Reddy is currently serving as the Joint Director, Policy Support Research at the National Institute of Biotic Stress Management in Raipur, India. He is deeply involved in three areas: biology, economics, and law. He holds a Ph.D. in agricultural economics from Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi. Since joining the Agricultural Research Service of ICAR in 2001, Dr. Reddy has contributed significantly to evaluating and shaping flagship agricultural schemes in India, enhancing the real-world impact. His professional journey is remarkable, with key leadership roles at top institutions like Manage Hyderabad, ICRISAT Hyderabad, BIRD Lucknow, and IARI New Delhi. He has not only directed research and monitored teams, but also led the development of IT systems to modernize agricultural extension services. In the academic world, Dr. Reddy has made a strong mark with over 100 research publications, an H-index of 33, and citations crossing 3,627. A celebration to the quality and relevance of his work. His papers appear in leading journals like Economic and Political Weekly, Food Policy, and Manufacturing of Service Operations Management, to name a few. Beyond research, he has been a reviewer and editor for top national and international journals, and a fellow of the Indian Society of Pulses Research and Development. He has actively contributed to high-level committees across institutions like JBIC, NABARD, NIRD and PR, and even worked with Indian Planning Commission on critical policy evaluations. Today, Dr. Reddy brings to us a unique blend of field experience, data-driven insights, and a global perspective, exactly what the next generation of plant biologists, agricultural scientists, and policy thinkers need to hear. So, without further ado, let's dive into today's interactive conversation. Dr. Reddy, it is an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Welcome to bioengine.com.
Thank you. Thank you very much for a great introduction. I'm happy to know that your bioengine is doing a lot of work, a lot of dissemination activities. I will share my slides. I think so. I think these policy issues. I mostly deal with policy issues about 1.5 hours, maybe some 30 minutes for question answers. Basically, with a historical perspective, because here, not only from India, some other countries also. I saw the list of all the participants. Some other countries also there. So, of course, India's policy trajectories is more or less linked with the world economy since beginning. Even from British India, means 17th, 18th, 19th centuries onwards, we are having very much interlinked global policies, science policies especially. They know, for example, issue industrial revolution in British directly and indirectly affected all the developing countries, including India, Southeast Asia, Pakistan, Bangladesh. All these countries are directly or indirectly affected by the industrial or scientific policies of the West. So keeping that in view, I will start with the first industrial revolution. What is the impact on our agriculture sector and how our agriculture sector grow, or for example green revolution, how it is impacted. And again post green revolution there is a little bit of policy paralysis, not much activity from 1980s to 2000. Recently only we are seeing that new agricultural policies 2020. And later on there are so many liberalization policies in agriculture sector which are opening up our agriculture sector. All this over 300 years. I will also go through what is the farmer situation, farmers profitability, farmers incomes, farmers livelihoods, because ultimately any science policy, any technology, whether it's a green revolution technology or white revolution, any technology, eh, the aim is to increase farmers income, not only increase farmers income, make affordable food available to the consumers. So keeping this in view, my outline of presentation is, say I mentioned evolution of technological policies. That's very, very important. If you see across the globe, even from first century onwards, of course human history starts from some scientific, because history starts from agriculture, the 10,000 years back we started agriculture. But even some selection of seeds, all these things, they started even from 2000 20,000 years back or 30,000 years back. But I will go through this, how the agricultural technological policies evolved, reasons for low farm incomes, even though across the world farmers' incomes are less than non-farm incomes. You see the, especially if you see ICT income, ICT employees income. If you compare any government servants' income, not only in India, across the developed countries. For example, even US, European Union, only 1%, 2%, 3% of the population depending on agriculture. Over the years, of course, if you go back to 300 years back, more than 70% of the households depend on agriculture. From even for in US, even for in developed countries like European Union, 70% 300 years back. Now it is reduced to 1%, 2%, 3%. Why? Because mainly they are not generating sufficient incomes. Or in other words, non-farm incomes are increasing, non-farm skills, occupations are increasing tremendously. For example, information technology is not there. Mobile phones are not there. Many other technologies are not there during that 100 years back. And current status of minimum support price, because across the world, governments are giving a lot of support to farmers to keep their business go on. Because otherwise, if there is no subsidies to agriculture sector, even 1%, 3%, 2% of the farmers, they leave agriculture in the developed countries. Of course, in India also, there is a need for subsidies, because our competing countries, European Union, America, China, they're hugely subsidizing their agriculture sector. If we don't subsidize, what will happen? They will dump agricultural goods, like say, for example, soya beans, edible oils. We are importing about 60% of our edible oil consumption. They dump into India, and our farmers will be without any employment opportunities. Another thing, another very important policy aspect is, because maybe most of our students, or maybe they have seen some villages, you may see a particular APMC markets, mandis in block level. These mandis are existing more than 100 years, since more than 100 years, but they are not evolved with the time. They are deteriorated in their maintenance. Their platforms are very ugly, and they are not maintained properly. There is no proper infrastructure. There is no warehouses. There is no no infrastructure is there in APMC markets. But if you see the modern markets, Now in Delhi, Safal market. In other countries, Chinese markets. Huge modern infrastructure market infrastructures are huge. Agricultural markets are there, very scientific, cold chain storages, warehouses, refrigerated transport facilities. There, all these post-harvest logistics are state of the art. But somehow, some of the countries, not all, some of the developing countries like India, even Pakistan, Bangladesh, these, in these countries, agriculture markets are still at nascent state. There's no much growth in that, infrastructure, market infrastructure, price discovery mechanisms, or price dissemination mechanisms. So as a result, middlemen is taking advantage of all these market realities. Again, there are some India-specific interstate differences in agricultural support. For example, India is like a continent. Not We cannot say it's a country. It's a continent. Why? Because Punjab and Haryana, their productive levels are even 10 times than that of Bihar, Orissa, eastern states. Of course, southern states are a little bit better. And our Punjab and Haryana can be even comparable to, even China's best provinces, uh, American best agricultural provinces, European best agricultural provinces, because their productivity is that high, that much high. Rice and wheat together, their productivity is more than 10 tons per hectare. It is uncomparable with Chinese, uncomparable with Japanese productivity, or even comparable with European Union or American productivity. But on the other hand, most of the dryland areas, not only in India, African countries, Kenya, Ethiopia, Uganda, all these countries, most of the areas are drylands, are dependent on rainfall. Their productivity is less than 1 ton per hectare. Any millets or maize, whatever it is, less than 1 ton per hectare. Whereas even Punjab, China, or even European Union countries or America, their productivity is 10 ton per hectare. That is the gap, huge gap existing. So that is very, very important. What type of policies are required? What type of policies are implemented to reduce this type of gaps are very, very important. Across the world, especially in developing countries, public procurement is very, very one of the very important policy instrument, which is operated by in India, which is operated by Food Corporation of India. In some other countries, some other mechanisms are there. Public procurement, warehousing, and distribution through ration shops at village level or at provincial level or etc. China, it is there already. Most of the communist countries, Vietnam, it is already there. Cuba, it is already there. But in some, market economies like America, there are some other type of mechanisms are there. Cooperative systems are there. So government is there, cooperatives are there. Now in India, farmer producer companies are going up. So all these are all, managing the food grain production, procurement, warehousing, and distribution. So, and again, you see earlier, if you go back to pre-green revolution or 100 years back or 200 years back, every farmer across the world are more or less self-sufficient because they used to grow more than 20, 30 different type of crops on their own farm. They are less dependent on markets. But if you go to now, any Punjab, if you go, monocrop is going on, like paddy and wheat. If you go to any other Western countries, also monocrop, only soybean means only soybean across some thousands of acres. Wheat means only wheat, maize means only maize. So that crop diversity at the cost of neglected crops like millets, pulses, oilseeds, which are neglected. So way forward also I have discussed. So evolution of technological policies. So when it comes to agriculture revolution or pre-green revolutions, we have to start with the industrial revolution. That's very, very important because industrial revolution changed everything across India, across the world. For example, if you go to say 17th century, 1650 or something like that. The technological levels across the world are same. Across the world, farmers used to cultivate more or less some small farms only because there is no much mechanization. They have to cultivate their own, whatever they use to consume. That my crop farm diversity is much higher. Crop diversity is much higher. They used to cultivate whatever they are eating. They are, like, pulses, oil seeds, rice, wheat, tamarind, or jute, even cotton, everything, whatever required by the households is produced by their own farms. There is little marketed surplus. That type of technology. And every farmer is self-sufficient. Every village across the world, all the villages, most of the villages are self-sufficient. And there is no much marketing facility. There is no much, no, for example, if there is a drought in particular area, and it's very difficult no move food grains from another part of the same country to this particular part because there is no transport facilities available. There is no locomotive, there is no railways, there is no, any sea routes are there, but they are also very scarce. So all this change started with the industrial revolution. The first, otherwise, even agriculture is one part, and also the next biggest industry across the world is cotton industry, cotton cloth industry. So they use like we are seeing that handlooms are there everywhere. No power looms. So the first revolution in industrial revolution, first technology came is the spinning jenny. It is invented in, I think, nearby Manchester, 1764. Uh, because you see Gandhi's chakra. This, spinning is one thread. Each spinner, they make one thread at a time. But with spinning jenny, they can, spin multiple threads at the same time. Multiple threads, 12, 20, or 70, something like that. So that technology is evolved in 1764. And once this started, instead of one chakra, each worker is equivalent to working in 20 chakras simultaneously. That is the power of productivity. That is the power of technological productivity. The productivity of the spinner increased by 20 times, 30 times. It's, single stroke of this spinning jenny. Then the steam engine came. Steam engine with with steam engines, railways, all the locomotives, everything started. And again the water mills. These spinning mills or these cotton spinning mills or ginning mills, all these are manually operated until then. But once water mills they put in the nearby, they construct their cotton mills nearby waterfalls or the river basin or something like that. This river water energy is directly converted into mechanical energy, and they use it to run all these mills 24 by 7. 24 by 7. There is no time, 8 hours duration or something. So they shifted from one shift per day to 3 shifts per day. The productivities with the spinning jenny, productivity increased, each worker productivity increased 20 times. With the water frame, the textile productivity increases steeply. Mechanization happened. You must have seen this YouTube, this Manchester, this cotton mills. Even now they are there still. There, So everything is mechanized. No, once everything is mechanized, once there is a steel production, 1978, right, rise in steel, iron production, the power looms expanded, and once there is a railways, steam power railways, then there is a transport facility. What they need now is raw material. What they need is raw material. What raw material they need? Cotton they need. So until then, in India, what is the implications of all this technological progress of British, of Europe on India? On India, what happened? So India, 18th century, more or less all the farmers are self-sufficient. They used to grow 20 crops which are which required by the households. They used to grow, but all of a sudden British occupied about 70% of the India. Then they started locomotives, railways they started, and they need now raw material, cotton. So this is the first starting point of India's agricultural change in the India's, agricultural scenario. Until then, there are little more self-sufficiency. So now, pre-grain revolution, what happened? So India first regulated market, Karanja, Maharashtra. So Mumbai, the Maharashtra is there only, even 18th, 17th century, 18th, 19th century, Mumbai is little bit progressive. They used to cultivate cotton lot. They used to have cotton mills across this. They used to have cotton mills or handlooms mostly. So once there is an industrial revolution, until then Indian farmers are self-sufficient. Now, in particular pockets where the cotton productivity is much higher, British India forced these cotton farmers to grow more cotton, more specialized, instead of growing food grains, paddy, wheat, millets, etc. Pulses, oilseeds. They forced them to grow only cotton. And that too, this cotton has to be sold in this particular regulated market, Karanja regulated market only. First regulated market in Karanja. So what is the purpose? Here, the exporters of cotton sit there. These all the cotton, farmers produced cotton, used to be sold at to these exporters. These exporters, they export raw cotton to cotton mills in the Manchester, London. So they produce thread, spinning, and ginning. They produce cloth, garments, etc., and they re-export to all the developing countries. Because at that time, 70% of the world is under the British rule, more or less. 70%. All this Southeast Asia, Bangladesh, Pakistan, even most of the most of the African countries also, whether it is in French and or whether it is in Britishers, Portuguese or Spain, all this, even South America, North America, most of them, even now, of course, North America is the exception. Already they got independence 1761, but most of the South America still depending on this European powers, colonial powers. So all this they used to having only handlooms. Once all of a sudden, what happened across the world? The farmers are forced to cultivate cotton, and export to European countries. Why we have to export to European countries? European countries, they are industrialized. Their big cotton mills are there. They are hungry for raw materials. They convert this raw cotton into clothes and garment, and these re-exported all this cotton means cotton, garments, clothes, etc. across the world for African countries, South Asia, the South America, Southeast Asia, China, all these countries they used to export. So all of a sudden, what this is called deindustrialization of deindustrialization. Not only deindustrialization. Earlier, every farmer is used to more focus on 70% of 80% of the area is on food grades, millets, pulses, oilseeds, etc. But once cotton, so they have to grow cotton, more cotton, market oriented. They replaced their millets, pulses, oilseeds with cotton. What happens? Once there is a famine, at least earlier they should to have their food grains. But now, once there is a crop failure, once the prices are crashed, cotton prices are crashed, what will happen? They don't have any food grains, homegrown food grains to eat. So more frequent famines are occurring during this type of across the world, African countries. You may be seeing in Chinese, a lot of famines used to be there, even in Southeast Asia, even India, Bengal famine in 1942. So all these things. So this, of course, first legislation as mentioned, Bearer Cotton and Grain Market Act. And of course, even then, British government is shifted. Earlier, it is under the East Indian Company. Most of the Southeast Asia, Asia, even India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, most of the African countries are under companies. They used to work under companies. They are governed by company, East India Company. East India Company ruled India and until 17th, 18th century. And similarly, some other companies ruled by the, ruled Africa, Southeast Asia, or South America. But 1980s and 19th century, 1900, 1910 onwards, all these, these companies are dissolved, or maybe they are directly ruled by British Parliament or Portuguese Parliament or democracies. Democratic revolution slowly started coming in. So once any country shifted from the company to the parliament system, what will happen? The policies are little bit friendly to the farmers, to the colonies. So this Royal Commission on Agriculture. So this all these farmings we are all seeing on and off. So British government start put a committee, Royal Commission on Agriculture. In 1928, the report submitted their report in 1928. Until then, there are here and there some agriculture research stations like Imperial Agriculture Research Institute, IRA now. Some that type of research institutes here and there. Coffee board is there, some other tea board is there, something like that. They're having here and there had hope research institutions in India also. They're all established by some, humanistic British scientists. But with the Royal Commission, all came under Imperial Council of Agriculture Research. Imperial Council, ICR now, Indian Council of Agriculture. Imperial Council of Agriculture Research. They have started. So all these research stations, they are coordinated under the ICAR. So this is a little bit of controlled by the government, British government, and they also started new research institutions to increase productivity, to reduce the famines. They also started cooperative movement in India. They also started credit movement, agriculture credit is required. All these little reforms were advocated by the Royal Commission on Agriculture. So that is the context. Again, there's before independence also there are some more progressive regulations. Agriculture Produce Marketing Act. So this misinformation. Now we are living in the information age, but during that period, the adjacent village information, this village farmers are not knowing. What is the price of export market? This village farmers may not be knowing. What is the market price in Mumbai, Kolkata, Madras, Delhi? These are all the major markets: Mumbai, Kolkata, Madras, and Delhi, or even Western markets like London, like that. The farmers in the villages, they may not aware of what's going on. What is the market rate? So middlemen, they purchase at 10 rupees, they sold in international market at 100 rupees. They are gaining huge profits. To reduce this type of malpractices, 1937 Agriculture Produce Marketing Grading and Marketing Act. Grading is very, very important to export. Without grade 1, it is whether your rice is whether it's a grade 1, 2, or 3. Depending on that only, your export market will grow. So that is what grading. So that Regulated Markets Act, Madras Presidency, again, most of these acts are started from the Madras Presidency, means Bombay Presidency, and we all know Bengal famine. So, what happened in the Second World War in 1929? Second World War started. 29 to 39. Yes, 39. World War started. From 1939 to 45, means about 66 years it went on. And during 1943, because British India is very much active participant in both First World War and Second World War. First World War from 1914 to 18, Second World War from 1939 to 45. So what will happening is huge wars, world wars. All the resources are directed to military expansion, military clothing, military food, military health, military housing, military roads, military transport. All these resources are diverted to military. And what happens once everything is diverted to military, food, etc., the general citizens are suffering from famine type of situations. And because British India used to feed not only British India's military, it has to feed other military, French military, it has to feed US military, it has to feed all this. So that is the whole lot of food is diverted to military operations. So yes, though that because of that reason there is a Bengal famine. War is coincided with the famine, because now we are also seeing Ukraine, Russia war. There is a food crisis. Any war, ultimately the side effect or byproduct is food shortage. See, this is historical, but during that period, which severe, about 5 million people, 50 lakh people were died due to this Bengal famine. And so what, in response to that, what government, British India has done is restriction on interstate trade on food grains. So why there is a restriction on interstate trade? For example, because during that period 99% is rain-fed. Rain-fed means some states with good agricultural productivity, some states with not that good productivity. So in that good agricultural productivity states, production states, if they put interstate restriction, trade restriction, what will happen? The food is there, surplus food is there in that state. This surplus food is procured by the British government and they distributed to wherever there is a shortage, like Bengal, like Orissa, like that. That is going on. Even for example, if there is a shortage in Bangladesh, some food through the trade route, they used to go to Bengal, they used to go to Pakistan, like that. That if they put interstate restrictions, government can put. Otherwise, what will happen if we don't have any interstate trade restrictions? What will happen? So, if Punjab there is a lot of food grain production, so middlemen procure that food grain at cheaper rate, and they will sell at higher rate in some other places. They will make profit, and whenever there is a scarcity in say West Bengal, that food may not go to the West Bengal because there is no purchasing power there. People are very famine. There is no production. Famine type of situation. Nobody can pay some 100 rupees per kg. But if some other places, if people are able to buy in urban areas like Mumbai, Madras, Delhi, if they are able to purchase at higher price, all this food grain go to this high income households, and poor remain poor, or this starve out of scarcity of the food. So that type of food. Even A 1944 public distribution system is introduced on a limited scale during the World War II. Again, so what is happening? There is a lot of inequalities. Lot of inequalities means what? Yeah, put 80% of the households are very poor. 90% of the households are very poor. 10% are little bit having, not they are not rich. They are having little bit money. So if there is a famine, this 90% will be famine type of situation. Only 10% able to buy because they are having little bit of money. But with the public distribution system, what will happen? Everybody at least some food they will get. At least uh, one meal per day. 1 meal per day. They will get. They cannot starve. They cannot die due to famines. So that is the advantage of public distribution system. Otherwise, what will happen? These so-called rich, they take 3 meals a day. These poor people, they don't get even 1 meal for 2 to 3 days. That is the situation during the famine type of situation. With the public distribution system, the rich get only 2 meals per day, while poor will get at least 1 meal per day. They may not die out of scarcity of the food. So that is the advantage of the public distribution system introduced during the World War II. So just after independence, as we have mentioned, middlemen is exploitative in every market, not only in India or Pakistan, something, everywhere, the powerful exploits powerless, or people who are having information exploits people who don't have information. Most of this, uh, old age means 1940s, 50s, there's no information flow. They don't know what is the prices across the globe in export market in major city. So during that period, not only in India, even Pakistan, Bangladesh, Southeast Asia, Philippines, China, or even South America, even African countries, they started agricultural market reforms to reduce the exploitation, to remove the exploitation by the middlemen. So the farmers get the fair share of their market price. So again, Essential Commodities Act. Essential Commodities Act of nothing but say, during that period, hoarding, you may be knowing hoarding. Hoarding means what? You stock 5,000 tons of rice, you, you procure 5,000 tons of rice during the harvest period at 10 rupees, procure at 10 rupees and sell at 100 rupees after 4 months. After selling all this, market, after farmers sold everything, all these things you buy at 10 rupees per kg, and after 3 to 4 months, if there is no market, there is no rice in the market, you dump this, you put all this, rice, procure rice, 5,000 tons of rice in the market for sale at 100 rupees. People will buy it. So this is one sort of hoarding, speculative markets. So to avoid the type of speculation, Government of India introduced the Essential Commodities Act. What is Essential Commodities Act? No trader, no middleman, no commission agent should store more than 5 tons, 5 tons, 50 bags, 5 tons per. No trader should not store more than 5 tons in their godowns. So whatever is there excessive 5 tons, that should be available in the market. That should be sold to the consumers. So that is the Essential Commodities Act. Again, still we are not in green revolution. We are having a lot of severity of scarcity. So we are regularly importing food grains. So to import food grains, if some private traders import food grains, they malpractice. They buy in international market at 10 rupees, they sell in domestic market at 100 rupees. To avoid that type of malpractices, State Trading Corporation is established in 1956. State Trading Corporation. So what is the job of State Trading Corporation? Whenever there is a scarcity, they go to international market, they buy from Russia, they buy from America, wheat and rice, and they sell at domestic market in cheaper rate without much profit. So that is that. And to do all these things, what it requires? Warehouses. Agriculture Produce Development and Warehousing Corporation Act 1956. Agriculture Produce Development and Warehouse Corporation Act 1956. So until this 1944 to we are having a lot of scarcity. But so keeping this scarcity on and off every year. So government of India and also our we are becoming deindustrialized. Earlier we used to be very rich in khadi industry, in handloom industry, in cloth industry. But with the industrial revolution in West, we deindustrialized. We don't have anything to export. Earlier, we used to export a lot of clothes. We don't have anything to export. So to import any food grains, we have to buy in dollars. We have to buy in dollars. To import from America, you have to buy in dollars. They don't value our rupee. What will happen? So under those circumstances, we don't have any purchasing power, even foreign exchange. Under those circumstances, government of India is having an agreement with American government, PL 480, here Public Law 480, Public Law 480. What is the purpose of it? So Indian government don't have any dollars. So we sell to India this much of rice, this much of wheat in Indian rupees. Indian rupees. They sell to India and they take Indian rupees. This rupees they spend on India only, on charity. This type of laws are there with other countries also, like Pakistan, like Bangladesh. All these type of these countries are having similar type of situation. So they don't. All these countries they don't have foreign exchange. They don't have dollars. So British government is having an agreement with all these countries. So we will sell our rice and wheat to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka in rupees. And these rupees we will spend again on missionaries, charity, all these things. So every 15 minutes, one ship used to come to India. This is the situation. So from 1960s, we changed little bit. Seeds of Green Revolution and impact. Seeds of Green Revolution. So given this scarcity, Government of India in 1962 introduced high yielding varieties, CIMIT, rice and wheat, International Rice Research Institute, rice, high yielding varieties of rice, high yielding varieties of wheat, we have introduced in India, we have tested at Indian Agriculture Research Institute, laboratories, Indian Agriculture Research Institute laboratories, tested from 1962 to 64, we found they are having potential. To scale up that, to scale up this improved varieties, improved seeds, what we have to do? Because farmers has to grow. How the farmers will grow? Farmers to be organized. How farmers will be organized? Through National Cooperative Development Act. Each village should have cooperative to supply input, to supply know-how, to dissemination in to seed supply, to fertilizer supply, to pesticide supply, all these things. So national cooperative development, credit is also very important. Farmers are very poor, they cannot purchase seed, they cannot purchase fertilizers. Fertilizers, seeds are very important. So National Cooperative Development Act in 1962. Again, markets needs to be developed. Every block should have one market. So Agriculture Produce Market Committee, which emphasizes each block. India is having 7,000 blocks, 7,000 nearly. India is having 700 districts, 7,000 blocks. So this each block should have one agriculture market again. Of course, farmers are growing more and more rice. The Punjab and Haryana where they can grow, but who should purchase? Middlemen will purchase at 10 rupees only, but some incentives should be there. So Food Corporation of India is established to procure from the farmers, 1964. And so all these preparatory activities are required. All this done. Before releasing, disseminating high-yielding varieties in large scale, Government of India is done all these preparatory works. High-yielding varieties tested, cooperatives established, agriculture produce markets are established in block, Food Corporation of India is established, then high-yielding varieties released across India. There's a bad luck that then now we are seeing the Indo-Pak War, 1965. So the Indo-Pak War, the slogan is Jai Jawan, but we are also having food security problem. National security is Jai Jawan. Food security is Jai Kisan. Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan slogan is started by the Lal Bahadur Shastri. This across India, that is through these radios, that is disseminated. This slogan Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, importance to be given to soldiers as well as farmers. And to distribute this, the food grains, public distribution system formalized again for the. So 1965 actual green revolution, 18,000 tons of high-yielding variety seeds are imported from CIMIT, imported from international rice research institute. 18,000 tons of high-yielding varieties were imported. So within a 2 years span, the production in Punjab and Haryana increased threefold. So no place to store food grains. 1967, no place to store food grains. And these all food grains were stored in schools. They declared holidays for schools. And they stored all these food grains, excessive food grains in the schools. And later on, they distributed across India, West Bengal, Odisha. So all of a sudden, the on of famines are out of question. No famines. So 1967, we are becoming no famine country across India. So that is one. That is our story about the Green Revolution. And that, but simultaneously, we started this private sector because this up to 1962 to 67, all is led by the big government. Everything is in government. Cooperatives in government, distribution, FCI, warehousing corporation, everything is in government. But the private sector also, 1969, poultry revolution, silver revolution we call, it started in the private sector. It started in the private sector. Some improved breeds of poultry, they have started in the private sector, especially in metros like Hyderabad, this type of places. Because with the rising incomes of the households, there is a demand increase in the poultry sector. Generally, they prefer high-income households, prefer the meat, milk, and etc. And again, Operation Flood started in 1970, but this is not in government, this is not in private sector, this is in the cooperative sector. Operation Flood, milk cooperatives. Every village having one cooperative started in Gujarat, Amul experiment, and that spread across India. So, the prevention of, then when there is an excess production and all these things taking place, 1980 prevention of black marketing and supply of essential commodities act. Black markets are going. So to remove the malpractices, Black Market Act, Act 1980. Again, 1985 to 1990, Blue Revolution, fish production. Again, it is started in the private sector, inland fisheries, aquaculture, brackish water fish. All this started in with the 1985. So all this production slowly increasing. As a result, what is required is under standards. Once you are having excess, you need to maintain standards. So the 1986 Bureau of Indian Standards. Why standards? To export any country, we need to maintain sanitary, phytosanitary, all the standards. So 1980. So this you see 1960s, 70s, and up to mid 80s. There is a lot of activity. Indian agriculture sector is growing like anything. We are shifted from ship to mouth to self-sufficiency, and even we are started exporting fish, exporting rice, exporting spices, exporting most of the commodities. So this is how the 60s, 70s, and 80s. But policy paralysis from 1980s to 2020, because we all know industrial revolution, industrial liberalization in India started in 1990, but the pure liberalization started before that. The seeds of liberation started before that by Rajiv Gandhi. Technology missions, most of the technological missions, whether it's the telephones, whether it's the computer, whatever it is, all the technology missions are started by the Rajiv Gandhi people. And uh, again, for example, 1990s, before 1990, we are having only one two-wheeler. What is that one two-wheeler manufacturer? It's a Bajaj. To buy a Bajaj scooter, one should have waiting period of 5 years, 3 years. True. If you want to buy a landline, you need to have some wait for 3 to 4 years. If you need to buy a car, only one car company is there. That is Ambassador car. Maybe old people maybe remember. So Ambassador car, only one Ambassador car company, only one car company, only one two-wheeler, only BSNL, only mobile, only means landline. So no competition. With the all of a sudden, with the Manmohan Singh, when Manmohan Singh and P.V. Narasimha Rao, Prime Minister, Manmohan Singh is the Finance Minister. They called these all industrialists. They called for a meeting in Delhi, and tomorrow onwards, we are liberalizing two-wheeler sector. We are liberalizing car, four-wheeler sector. We are liberalizing mobile telecom sector. So all of a sudden, what happened? Instead of only one Bajaj, there is a Hero, there is a Honda, there is so many, some 20 companies came, established their companies here. Some started with technology collaboration with Japan, some started with technology collaboration with Korea, some started with America, some started with Russia. All this. Maruti entered in 1990s. So instead of one company, there are some multiple companies, 10, 20 companies of four-wheelers, 10, 20 companies of two-wheelers, 10, 20 companies of mobile operators, telecom operators, everything. So everything is liberalized because that is easy. Liberalizing industrial is very easy. Once Bajaj, if you don't agree, you will even stop Bajaj. Government will tell you, even stop Bajaj, even stop Ambassador. So they agreed. But liberalizing agriculture sector is very difficult. That's what we are seeing in farmers' agitations. Why it is very hard? Because in Punjab and Haryana, they are closer to Delhi. They are getting lot of benefit from minimum support price for rice and wheat. So rice and wheat, each hectare about some 20 to 20, 30 or even 40,000 subsidy per hectare, each hectare. In Punjab, average land size is very high when compared to other states, 4-5 hectares. So every household is getting say 1.5 lakh or 2 lakh because of the fertilizer subsidy, because of the free electricity, because of the free irrigation, all these things. Free fertilizer subsidy, because fertilizer, how much is the subsidy? The urea, for example, urea bag, you can take 45 kg bag. The market price is only 300 rupees per bag, 45 kg, 300 rupees. Whereas government bear about 1800 or 2000 rupees subsidy on one urea bag. So generally per hectare, you say 4, 5, 6 bags, how much is the subsidy you can say. So most of the subsidy is going to only paddy, wheat and sugarcane, 90% during that period, 80s. So they are getting huge subsidy from this minimum support price, fertilizer subsidy, pesticides, irrigation subsidy, water subsidy and everything. So they don't want to reduce that. So with liberalization means remove all the subsidy indirectly. So they agitate. So they are very, very powerful that time. Even now also they are very powerful. They are stopping all the liberalization of agriculture sector. So ultimately, so that's why. So farmers are agitating to liberalize agriculture, whereas industries liberalize already. ICT, information technology, ICT, all these things, they are already liberalized. They are already liberalized. So agriculture is not liberalized. There is no policy act. High cost of intermediation. You see any mandi, lot of corruption. No platforms to auction. Auctions are rigged. Malpractices, speculation, cess, huge cess, all this. Margins of this middleman are huge, 25%, 60%. And there is a famous slogan of Rajiv Gandhi. Out of 100 rupees going to subsidy, whatever, public distribution system, only 12 rupees going to end consumer in 1980s. Of course, now it is changed because of technological revolution with the electronic PDS system, with the ICT revolution, with geofencing technologies, with tracking everything. The reduced any transparency increased, corruption is reduced. But 1980s there is a lot of corruption. This corruption, corrupt FCI, food public distribution system, Punjab, Haryana, trade lobbies, and all this, they are having vested interest. They develop vested. They don't want any liberalization in agriculture. They stalled all the liberalization programs of the government from 1980s up to 2020. However, a green revolution is under public sector, white revolution under the cooperative. They are very successful. 1990s economic liberation, industry and services, but not in agriculture. So no change, not changing with times in 1990s and 2000s. No change with the time. APMC is under state control, regulated, no elections. Even now, they have nominated positions. They grab the money. They grab farmers' money in terms of sales, market fee, everything, corruption, everything. No accountability. No monopolistic power, market fee, huge market fees, sales commission. Any market we can go now, you can see those type of thing. Stock limits. When there is a stock limit, as I mentioned, you should not store more than 5 tons. Means no Ambani, no Adani will come. Whenever this Adani, Ambani comes, big players will come. They comes not only with the capital, they also come with technology. State-of-the-art technology, state-of-the-art refrigeration facilities, the state-of-the-art cold refrigerated facilities, warehouses, market infrastructure, everything they will come. Cooling chambers, all this. But once private sector is not coming, they stop capital, they stop also capital embedded technology. So suppression of market signals are this, no private storage and all these things. There are a lot of wastages. The government is not in not easy and inefficient. All these APMC markets you may be seeing that are very, very inefficient. So all these things I already discussed. Then from 2003 onwards, I think the 2003 or 2002 onwards, there is a little bit change. What are those changes? First of all, GM cotton came. GM cotton is revolutionized cotton production. One of our recent paper estimated that about 3.47 lakh crore rupees benefit from the BT cotton in 2011-12 prices. That means in today's prices is more than 10 lakh crores. Huge benefit to farmers. Farmers' profitability increased, all these things. So, Model APMC Act started. This is under Vajpayee government, 2003. Model APMC Act agriculture produce marketing. In this act, all these things are there. What is that? A direct marketing, Raitu Bazars. Farmers can directly sell to anyone. They can export even. Contract farming between farmers and seed producers, or farmers and exporters. Forward contracts, Warehouse Development Act, the e-warehouse receipts. If you store some 5 tons of grain, that equivalent money will be given as a loan to you. That is e-warehouse receipts. Model agriculture land lease. Oh, of course, even now land lease markets are very, very messy, because if you are having 10 acre of land, there is no correct land lease market. It is all war alone. They have not yet developed, even though they have tested it. 2016, there is a Model Agriculture Land Lease Act, but it's not effective. 2016 electronic national agriculture markets, they started. They started in Karnataka first, but they spread across India. But still, they are not very vibrant. And 2017 model agriculture produce and livestock markets. Until then, livestock is out of regulation. So there is not a market malpractices. The government no regulation. So government introduced the Livestock Marketing Act 2017 and Model Contract Farming Act in 2018. Again 2019 Pogron, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vignan. Science is also very important. Jai Anusandhan, extension, agricultural extension. So Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vignan, Jai Science, and Jai Anusandhan, Jai extension. All this taken place. These are all little bit of reforms. Focus. The slogans are changing the focus of the government, basically. They indicate the focus. 2020 new farm laws enacted with focus on liberalization of agriculture. Liberalization of agriculture. All this liberalization of agriculture. However, as I mentioned, if you liberalize the vested interest of Punjab and Haryana farmers, because they are getting huge benefits from the MSP, minimum support price. They are huge. They are getting huge benefits from fertilizer subsidy. They are getting huge subsidy from free electricity to agriculture, free irrigation facilities to agriculture. So they are stalling it. Ultimately, they repealed the new farm laws. So this is the history of testing waters. So new farm laws are nothing but one, free markets. Anybody can sell to anyone. Not only APMC markets, anybody can sell to anyone. Farmer can sell in local market, sell in wholesale, sell in international market. He may export directly. And also no stock limits. There should not be any stock limits. Means all this Adani, Ambani will come. They will come with capital. They also comes with technology, international state-of-the-art technology. They comes with cold storages. They comes with refrigeration, huge refrigerated facilities, huge godowns, huge cleaning, grading activities. All these things they will come with this, and also contract farming. Farmers are free to have any contract with anyone. So these are all some of the new farm laws components. But they are in the direct one nation, one market. What is one nation, one market? So, for example, you are in your village. You are producing onion. You are producing onion. Your market price is 100 rupees. 100 rupees. So, from your village to Delhi market, there is a Delhi market price is there. Say 150 rupees. 150 rupees. At 150 rupees. In Delhi market, onion price is 150 rupees. In your village, onion price is 100 rupees. Your logistic costs, transport costs, and some sort of profit, normal profit, because bank interest rate for all these activities is together 20 rupees per kg. So, if Delhi market price is more than 120 rupees instead of 150 rupees, if it is 120 rupees, then it is called one nation, one market. One nation, one market. One nation, one market means your village market price, the gap between your village market price in your terminal market in Mumbai or Delhi should not be more than the transportation cost. That is very simply transportation cost, whether it's a refrigerated transport, whatever the transport, all the logistics, storage, and all. It should not be more than the village price plus transportation cost. If it is more than that, then it is not one nation, one market. Say, for example, in Delhi market, it is only 120 rupees. Then it's aligned with the one nation, one market. If it is 150 rupees, that means somebody is making excess profits. So markets are not working perfectly well. So there is a need for reducing malpractices. Then this daily price should reach up to 120. Then only we can say the markets are perfect and one nation, one market is working. For that, what is required is barrier-free interstate market. Barrier-free interstate market. There should not be any cess from going from one state to other state, one country to another. Now we are talking about tariffs. So earlier, so tariffs. No, historically, tariffs are huge during the Second World War. When there is a conflict between countries are huge, the tariffs are huge. Tariffs are huge during the First World War. Tariffs are huge during the First World War. The tariffs are huge during the Cold War between Russia and USSR. Then slowly, with the WTO, with the GATT, slowly tariffs are reduced. Now, American world over, the tariffs are less than 10%. Now Trump is, however, since last 10 years, there is a self-reliance slogan is coming up. You should not depend on imports. You should not depend on other countries. Self-reliance. So every country started increasing their tariffs rates. Every country wants to become self-sufficient in all the strategically important commodities like agriculture, food security, chips, smart technology, ICT technology, data centers. They want to become self-sufficient. So that is called barriers, interstate, international state. So that is tariffs are always bad for any country globally. And also the liberalization means freedom and choice to farmers. Farmers can sell to exporters, local market, middlemen, whomever they wish they can sell. So these are all some of the issues. And I already discussed all these things. And what are the prerequisites for implementation or liberalization of these agricultural markets? One is strengthening farmers, collective bargaining. Strengthening farmers, collective bargaining. Because once we liberalize agriculture sector, what will happen? Big corporation, Adani, Ambani, Reliance, ITC, all these big companies will come. If farmer is weak, they can exploit. To counter that, government has to encourage farmers, producer organizations, their collective bargaining, enhance their collective bargaining. Once they enhance collective bargaining, what will happen? They collectively procure urea, they collectively sell output. When they collectively sell, they increase price. When they collectively buy inputs, they reduce price. They increase their profitability. Local level institutions, farmers collectives, self-help groups in local collection and aggregation, village storage infrastructure and bargaining. So all these village level infrastructure needs to be developed. And they are and should be within the control of these farmers. So all these village godowns, all these village storage structures, all these village markets should be governed, should be controlled by the villagers, by the farmers. So that work as a check against the big corporate sector. So efficient price information system. Farmers has to know what is their price. Coffee, they're blended, they're specialized blended coffee they are producing in say Karnataka, in say Ethiopia, in some Arabian country. So what is the global price? They have to know it. Otherwise, if they don't know, these middlemen will play the game. They, the middleman will say this global price is only 10 rupees. Farmers will sell to these traders at 10 rupees and they will sell at 1000 rupees. So that type of, to avoid that type of thing, efficient price information systems are strengthening APMC markets. Again, strengthening farmers and strengthening government are both important. Strengthening farmers cooperatives, strengthening farmer producer organizations, strengthening government through strengthening APMC markets, reducing malpractices, regular elections, all these things are, and expanding technological market, electronic national agriculture markets. These are all some of the steps, prerequisites to liberalize agriculture sector. Otherwise, there is a scope for misinformation, malpractices by the corporate sector. So once we liberalize all these things, who will benefit, who will lose? Gainers, farmers will gain because they can sell to anyone, they can easily export directly, they can have access to any market, state-of-the-art technology. For example, Delhi, around Delhi, somebody must have seen this Safal markets, fruits and vegetables. What is happening in Safal? So around 100 square kilometers around Delhi, farmers will harvest their vegetables about by evening 5, 7 o'clock, 5, 7, 6, 7 o'clock. Then through collection centers, aggregation centers in the village, that will be procured by the Safal, and overnight they process in centralized processing unit. The chemical residues, they clean, they pack everything, they put all this labeling, etc. And all these packaged fruits and vegetables, they will be distributed. They will be sent through each Safal store. I think 300 Safal stores are there across India. All these Safal stores based on the yesterday's demand. In that particular Safal store yesterday, what is the tomato, how many tomatoes are sold? Say 10 kg. So they will send 11 kg by the morning. Yesterday evening harvested, by 2 days, morning 5 o'clock, yesterday 10 kg sold, today 11 kg they will send to this market, this retail shop. The fresh, clean produce is available to the consumers across India. So in this way, farmers are getting benefit, assured market, everything is clean, processed, healthy food is going to consumers at reasonable price. So this type of infrastructure will develop if we liberalize agriculture. Consumers will benefit. Large corporate houses also will benefit because they will centralize processing unit. They will establish. So losers, who will be the losers? Small scale petty traders. They may lose their job because every market, every mandi, if they are having say 1,000 farmers there to sell, there are some 200, 300 middlemen. That many middlemen are not required. So are these most of the middlemen who are inefficient, who are malpracticing, they will reduce their job. They will be out of their job. State lose revenue. So many, for example, Punjab, Haryana, they get lot of market, lot of cess from market fees that will be removed. APMC market committees are malpracticing. They are doing malpractices. They will be reducing their malpractices. So this is how the historical perspective. Then I will, because in our title also there, why farmers are getting low incomes, how we can increase the incomes of the farmers. So that is the big question now. So we go through this historically. Any commodity prices will go down. Historically, if it is commodity prices will go down because commodity means technology is becoming easily available. Once technology is available, we produce more, Once we produce more, supply will be more, demand is constant. When the supply is more, when there is a lot of surplus, commodity prices will go down. That is case everything. You see, even computers, even mobiles, even though technology is becoming more and more sophisticated, the prices are going down. So any commodity, so agriculture is not different. Prices will go down. That is an historical fact, but prices will fluctuate. So that is what. And why? What is the problem of India? So India is Indian farmers in the globalized world. Indian farmer has to compete with the world farmer, Canada farmer, who is having 10,000 acres average. American farmers who are having 4,000 acres average. European farmers, they are also big. They are cultivating as mechanized, totally mechanized. One person cultivate 4,000 hectares. That is their capacity. But we are all small farmers. 1 hectare, average is 1 hectare now, is cultivated by 3 to 4 members. Even fixed paddy transplantation, 20 members are required. So that is, we don't have tractorization, we don't have right farm machinery. So capital formation in Indian agriculture sector is very less. And private corporations are not spending any capital. So the private corporation, you see the grid, pie chart. Private corporate capital investment is only 2%. Overall capital investment is less. Within that overall, private corporations are not spending because the stock limits are there. So what is this? This is a vicious circle. Small holdings, they are not getting good prices. When they are not getting good prices, their profitability very less. When they are less profitable, their incomes are less. When their incomes are less, their indebtedness increase, their debt is increases, private sector, money lenders, all these things. They don't invest in farming. When they are not investing, their profits will be less. So this is a vicious circle. So that is one thing. That's why our farmers are getting low incomes. Our gap between farmers' incomes and others' incomes are increasing. That's why there is a farmers' distress on and off. Current status of MSP implementation. Again, MSP, as I mentioned, guaranteed minimum support price. Guaranteed price across the world, it is called guaranteed price. India, it is called minimum support price. Although Government of India declared minimum support price or guaranteed support price for 23 commodities, effectively it is implemented in 4 commodities, mainly rice, wheat, cotton to some extent through Cotton Corporation of India, and also sugarcane through sugarcane mills. But across India, say now rice MSP, paddy MSP is 2,000 rupees per kg, 2,000 rupees per kg, 2,000 per quintal, 2,000 rupees per quintal. So, say you see the Punjab here, left side, Punjab cost of production is only 700 rupees per quintal. 700 rupees per, whereas MSP is about 2,000 rupees. So they are very much profitable. But in Maharashtra, cost of producing 1 quintal of paddy is more than 2020 rupees, whereas MSP is 2,000 rupees. So at MSP also they get loss. So at MSP, farmers in Punjab and Haryana, they will get more profit. Farmers in Andhra Pradesh also little get profit because their cost of production is less. Whereas Rajasthan, Haryana, Gujarat, paddy, especially paddy farmers, are not getting because cost of production is huge there. And also, most of the procurement at MSP is taking place in only Punjab and Haryana, some other states, not in all the states. Bihar, no procurement. Odisha, no procurement much, like that. So there is a not only intercrop differences. Intercrop means paddy, wheat, cotton, and sugarcane. They are procured. Other crops, pulses, oil seeds, millets, vegetables, fruits, they're not at all procured at MSP. They are exposed to market fluctuations. So there is intercrop differences is there in implementation of the MSP. And also interstate. Interstate means Punjab farmers are getting huge. Every paddy and wheat both are procured, whereas Orissa or Madhya Pradesh or even Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, procurement is not there. These people are not benefiting. So there is huge gap is going on intercrop as well as interstate differences in implementation of the minimum support price. So that is one of the things. So that's why you see, don't go about all these things. You see this bracket prices many times minus 21%, minus 10%, minus 16%. For safflower, minus 23%, minus 25%, minus 24%, minus 19%, minus 30%. That means most of the states, oil seeds, pulses, they are selling below MSP, 23%, below MSP, below minimum support price. So most of the commodities in most of the states, this minimum support price, only one policy instrument of the government of India is not working properly. That's why farmer comes out less. That's why farmers are agitating for higher minimum support price. Not only higher minimum support price, they are also agitating for legally guaranteed minimum support price. Now, all the farmers across India, I think there are some discussions going on. Farmers are agitating for legally guaranteed minimum support price. So that is one thing. Again, current status of APMC markets. So cess is huge thing. And again, very few farmers are selling at local mandis. Majority they are selling at outside, middlemen, all these things. And even mandis also, for example, Punjab, you can see this Punjab total sales is 8.5%. 8% is going to government as assess. That is not going to consumers, that is not going to farmers, that's going to government middlemen. So that is a big problem with the APMC markets. As I already mentioned, APMC markets are fed up with corruption, no infrastructure development, outdated technology, no new infrastructure is created, no cold chains are there, like that. So many problems are there. Huge interstate differences in government support, as I already mentioned. Huge interstate differences are there existing. Fertilizer subsidy per hectare. You see fertilizer subsidy, for example, Rajasthan is only 1,500 least, Andhra Pradesh 6,000 per hectare. Fertilizer subsidy. So huge differences in their subsidy. Efficiency of procurement operations. So any country will have food buffer stocks. Why they will maintain food buffer stock? If there is a famine type of, if there is a sudden shortage of food grain production, then these buffer stocks will solve that problem. So normal buffer stock capacity is drawn in yellow line. Normal buffer stock capacity that is slowly increased, but whereas our stocks, food grain stocks, are much higher than the norm of buffer stocks. We are maintaining above normal buffer stocks, huge cost. Procuring, storing, in the storage there is a loss, all these things. For example, we are procuring at, as I mentioned, 20 rupees per kg. We are selling at 2 rupees per kg. Each kg, 18 rupees loss. Simple arithmetic. We are procuring from the government 20 rupees per kg rice, for example. We are selling to consumers 2 rupees per kg. The government is incurring in this process 18 rupees loss. So that is simple arithmetic. It's a very complicated, but simply you can say like that. But for example, wheat, we have calculated a little bit. Wheat procurement is 19,000 rupees per quintal, 19,000 rupees per quintal, and mandi fees, commission, logistic, storage cost, all these things, 7,000 rupees per ton, 7,000 rupees per ton. The total cost to the government is 27,000 rupees. 19,000 you are government, you are giving to farmers, MS per ton. 7,000 there is an expenses, handling and all these things. 19 plus 7, 27,000 is economic cost to the government. But the international price is more, less than that. So only 18,000. That means government is incurring, each ton of procure, government is incurring 10,000 rupees ton per ton loss. For example, if you procure from farmers, government has to sell it in international markets. Procurement cost is 27,000, but selling price is only 18,000. You are getting 10,000 rupees loss. But if you sell in the national open market, it's a 21,000 rupees you are selling. So again, a loss of 5,000 tons, 5,000 per ton. So that is the wheat case. Again, in the rice case, what is happening? Rice procurement and handling all these charges is 37 rupees, 37,000 per ton government cost, whereas world price is only 28,000. What is the loss? If you procure at 27,000 and selling at 28,000, per each ton government is getting 9,000 rupees loss. So this is costly. So if you are more than the norms, buffer norms, your government is incurring loss. That's why government is spending about 3.5 lakh crore rupees subsidy on food grains. That's huge. Instead of subsidizing this type of things, if they give directly to the farmers, they can use more technology, modern technology. They can modernize their farms. 3.5, 3.7 lakh crores. That is a huge money. If you give to government farmers, they can modernize their laboratories, their farms. They put in new investment. They dig more borewells. All these things. Huh? So all these things they can do. That is a big loss. Well, again, as I mentioned, procurement policy is biased against oil seeds and other crops. We are procuring only paddy, wheat, cotton, and sugarcane. We are not procuring oil seeds. We are not procuring pulses. In oil seeds and pulses, India is in deficit. We are importing huge quantities. We are importing more than worth of 1.5 lakh crores of oil seeds. We are importing about 30% of our pulses. We are importing about 60% of our domestic consumption of edible oils. But because of these biased policies, biased for paddy wheat, biased against oil seeds and pulses. So I think, can I stop here and some
Okay.
question answers can I take, or what?
Okay. Yes, sir, no problem. No problem. We can take some question answer too.
So at the end, recently I published this book, which is forwarded by Ramesh Chand, a member planning Niti Ayog. It is again, we have examined the because with the climate change, changing the climate, as our title shows, changing climate scenario, changing vulnerability, changing rainfall pattern, floods, new pests, new diseases, high warming, global warming, all these things, we are getting new pests and diseases. In the recent years, 2021, there is a huge pest attack on chilies. Chilies is the costliest field crop in India. Each farmer per hectare, they have to spend 1.5 lakh per hectare, 1.5 lakh per acre cost of production, cost of cultivation per hectare. But if they get everything good, they may get 3 lakh profit, 3 lakh benefit. Means profit is also similarly high. But all of a sudden, with weather abnormalities, or pest attack, diseases on this entire crop may be failed. Under those circumstances, what are the policies, governments, how the government can intervene, government crop insurance schemes, how they will be implemented, how they should be effective. All these things were discussed in this. Some governments are effective, some other governments are not effective. We have to make these government policies effective to reduce this type of abnormal losses incurred by farmers on and off, because these abnormal years are increasing, frequency is increasing recent years. How to minimize the losses to the farmers is again a big challenge for Indian society, big challenge across the world, because these climate vagaries, not only climate, even price changes, price fluctuations, with the liberalization, with the globalization, climate change, pest disease attacks, price fluctuations, all these are all affecting the farmers' incomes. How governments can help the farmers to alleviate their distress conditions. This is the book which we have written recently, which is published by these Francis Taylor and Francis. You can refer in future. This is forwarded by Dr. Ramesh Chand, a Niti Aayog member. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think I will stop. I think we need to have some time for discussion. I think so.
Okay. Thank you, sir. It's everything. You gave us everything from starting to end, and lots of knowledge. And I personally love the history of IARI and all, because it's starting in that way that now it's a big name in Indian agriculture, but the formulations was very beginning, and maybe the reason of building the IRI is fruitful, and in the future it will contribute more. Sir, my personal question is that ASEAN, most of the Asian countries are the small holding farmers.
Yes.
Okay. So, is there any way to accumulate their lands and do something in bigger way, like the Australia or others countries are doing? So they can use the drone technology or airplane technology for the fertilizer and insecticide spray and all. So, is it a challenge of small holding farmers? Are the farmers are really wanted to accumulate their land to others and go for the cooperative mode of actions? Do you have any ground related data?
Yes, actually, they said there are two solutions. Especially the recently, even Japanese farmers never go for huge, agitations, but
Hmm.
they recently went for agitation and all these things, because their paddy farms are nowadays not very profitable.
Hmm.
Main problem is there are two things. One is technological solutions, as you are mentioning the drones, or this technological tractorization, or some implements which are scale neutral.
Hmm.
The other one is institutional reforms, like as I mentioned, the farmer producer organizations, farmers collectives, and one easiest thing is land pooling. Land pooling.
Hmm.
So, in the recent years, some cooperative societies, they have done some experiments in a particular village. So, in that particular region, is a
Hmm.
mix of farmers. No, you never say nowadays you are seeing land leasing. About 30% of the
Hmm.
farmers are leased out their land anyway. 30% of the farmers leased out their land anyway. And
Hmm.
remaining some farmers, they are cultivating that they are not very much interested. They are having multiple sources of income. They are working as a tractor or driver, so many other things.
Hmm.
Some farmers are full farmers, full scale. So this cooperative society, what it has done, it's a it's a one piece of land, but about 100 farmers land holdings are there. So every farmers, they are having an agreement with the all the farmers. They pooled all the land together, uniform, Then they use modern technologies. They're operating like a precision agriculture,
mm,
everything. And farmers can they the returns will be based on their own land holding and also their share in work, their
mm,
labor share, other type of thing. So they have done some innovative institutional infrastructure. It may not be feasible across all the villages, but
mm,
at least some villages it may be feasible.
mm.
And they are pooling their capital. Some
Okay.
land, large landowners are there, or there may be some ICT people who are working in high-tech city, Hyderabad, high-tech city, Mumbai, Bangalore type of thing. They may be interested in this type of farming. So they are getting some capital from this type, sourcing their capital from this type of people. They are investing that capital in the lands. They are developing that land. They are making it more productive, more profitable. And in this process, farmers are free. They may work in some other place or they may work on their own farm also. They are flexible. They are getting more incomes when compared to the earlier. They are happy. And entire farm mechanization is taking place, because otherwise what is happening, 1 acre farmer is also having one tractor, 2 acre is farmer is 10 acre farmer is also having one tractor. Okay,
Mm,
10 acre farmers will cultivate, use tractor efficiently, but 1 acre farmer owning a tractor is absolutely waste. Owning any other farm implement is absolutely waste,
mm.
because that farm implement is not utilized fully. It is
Mm.
underutilized, only operated seasonally.
Exactly.
Power sprayers, for example. If he
Mm,
has having only one power sprayer, that is used only 3-4 days per year.
mm,
The remaining days is not useful. Whereas if it is used collectively across 100 acres, that will be used across full season, full
mm,
utilization can be taken. That is one. Land pooling is the one way, but that is full. But you can, even custom hiring centers. That's coming up. Custom hiring centers. No farmer can buy tractor. Only collective farmers, collective, collectively 30 farmers together, they own this all farm implements everything. They maintain a registry and they hire for fee, 1 acre per acre or per hour, something like that. That is other form, loose form. This land pooling is a very, it's a cumbersome process, but all the farmers has to agree. It should be long term, but it's more profitable. There are
yes.
many cooperatives also. Some cooperatives are very successful. They are using now, for example, if a village, entire village is paddy, it's very easy to spray through drones, etc. So there are loose forms of cooperation. Loose form of cooperation is like there is an informal agreement or formal agreement. All the farmers in that particular village has to follow some particular cropping pattern.
Mm,
So they can outsource drones, all the spraying activity, pesticide spraying. They can collectively purchase some inputs. They can collectively purchase fertilizer, pesticides. They can collectively, outsource spraying activities. They can hire drones. They can sell collectively at a higher price their output in the market. They can even export. They can keep their own brand. That is a very loose form. They can collectivize, because now the, it's a, as I mentioned, institutional innovations, this type of institutional innovations, as well as technological innovations, nowadays they are coming up very well. There are a lot of startups are coming in different experimentation. For example, one is uh, Uber type of tractorization, Uber tractor.
mm,
So in a particular village, one tractor owner will be there. He will link with all the farmers in that particular locality. Whenever there is a demand, they will go and they will do farm operations. So this type of different type of experiments are going on, but one size will not fit all, because uh, Philippines socio-cultural differences are different. Socio-cultural backgrounds are different. Japanese cultural backgrounds are different. Indian farmers are within India. Orissa cultural practice, farmers' cultural practices are different. West Bengal are different. Punjab is different. So these new innovations, institutional innovations, should evolve locally, not top down, not umbrella type of thing. They have to evolve locally. They have to experiment locally. They have to link with the technology providers. They have to link with the government. They have to link with NGOs. They have to develop solutions locally. They have to identify what are the loopholes. For example, paddy transplantation. In some villages, entire paddy transplantation is outsourced. With it, all these transplantation machinery they are using, they are outsourced. Which is very costly, very easy, less cost, timely, and perfect. Perfect also. It's a precision type of thing. So those type of things are evolving. They are handholded by the companies like Agrotech or this ITC, Reliance. This type of things. They are handholding those type of things. Some may be successful, many may be failures. But whenever there is a success stories are there is a possibility of scaling up those success stories in other parts, depending on the suitability of these institutional innovations.
Okay. Yes, sir. And so something we observe in social media that some IIT, ex-IITian or some company, they left their company and start farming and huge profitable is there. So what is the reason? Means they have better knowledge than the farmer, or they have better capital for the farmer? Why they are successful where not a farmer is successful?
So, in general, not only if you create your own niche and your own brand,
Hmm.
branding is very, very important
Okay.
because there are so many organic farmers they are growing,
Hmm.
but only some IITian they came, they established some organic farm. Overnight, they are becoming,
Hmm.
very profitable.
Hmm.
But what lacks this traditional organic farmers, these people may be having. These may be having this inter apps. They
Hmm.
can link customers with this organic. They may be having traceability,
Hmm.
traceability because
Okay.
because organic produce is very tricky.
Hmm.
Nobody can, no chemical, no lab can test it's 100% organic. It's
Hmm.
only based on trust,
Hmm.
traceability.
Hmm.
So this probably these IITians, these technology savvy people, maybe they are having better technologies to track the entire value chain, supply chain
Hmm.
from seed to seed, seed to
Hmm.
consumers. So
Hmm.
they can easily check. The consumer can easily check know where the technology used
Hmm.
or chemicals are used across the value chain.
Hmm.
The type of trust building, branding, or even using technology
Hmm. Will be
and the
helpful.
scaling. So
Hmm.
these and management technologies, management skills.
Hmm.
All things are with the traditional farmers. These are all things are not there. They are traditional farmers. That's
Hmm.
why hand holding is very, very important. And most of the times, what we are seeing in hand holding by the government sector is not that much successful
Hmm.
because government is really is not pro business. They may not be knowing the business tactics.
Hmm.
Only these startups were mentored by business or IIMs or IITs, mentored by some technology savvy people.
Hmm.
Board can manage this type of things very well. They have to identify the where is the bottlenecks basically, where we can uh, gain edge,
Hmm.
where we can uh, remove the bottlenecks to increase the market share and all these things is very business. It's a big business, and then you need both technology as well as business acumen, business smartness. Those all things are not there with the traditional farmers. That's why they lack this type of things.
Maybe. And sir, those are the agri-tech startups.
Hmm.
Means because our many of our audience are the from industry and startups. So for the agri-tech startups, how they can find their market? Is there any hand holding from government or anything where they can sell their innovation?
Definitely, because now all even ICR Government of India is having lot of agri startup incubation centers. Each state agriculture university having incubation centers. Even each ICR institutions, like for example, millets,
Hmm.
International Year of Millets recently they have celebrated. A lot of startups. Startup ecosystem is going very well.
Hmm.
But thing is that generally agriculture is a tricky business, as you mentioned, because it requires both agriculture expertise, business expertise on the other hand, technological expertise, ICT, all these things. Uh,
Hmm.
oh, it's very hard. It is always, a mix of all these things are required
Hmm.
and to make them, very scalable and successful. Uh, and ecosystem is not that much very well developed.
Hmm.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time. For example, still, even Delhi market, even Mumbai market, 95% is traditional.
Hmm.
So these new tech savvy entrepreneurial agri startups request a lot of things to be done. Of course, they have to identify their niche products, niche
Hmm.
export markets, probably export markets. They have to identify from the standard specialized products. They have to identify. For example, you cannot become more successful in brown rice market.
Hmm.
Anybody can do that business. If you identify some niche market of say coffee, niche brand,
Hmm.
which can be sold in international markets. And the price difference is price premium is 20 times more. The difference between normal coffee brand here and global brand 20 times more. The type of brands are there. The type of specific products, there is a possibility of success, more success. Branding, where you can put your brand, say for example, specialized products like coffee, tea, like some vegetables, some spices, some rice.
Hmm.
What is that? Biryani rice or something.
Hmm.
This branded rice in America, in East, this Middle East,
Hmm.
Arab countries, all these things. So whenever you create some sort of brand, some sort of specific, unique, the geographic indicators,
Hmm.
this type of niche markets, there is a lot of potential. Traceability, organic products, again, there is a lot of niche market is there. And but ultimately, how your prototype, how much well time tested is your prototype, that is very, very important.
Hmm.
Prototype, business plan, financial plan, all these things are very, very important. Now, DPR, how you are preparing your project plan. There are many professional agencies which will guide, which will mentor this type of startups. There are professional help is very much required, although it may take some cost, etc. But if they take some professional help, definitely they will get good insights. Having identifying proper mentor. For example, if you are working, you want to work in millets, you have to go through these millet markets across the world, at least even websites. You go to millet scientists in Indian Institute of Millet Research in Hyderabad. You go into deep products, identify products where you can have some edge type of thing, where you can position your product in international market, domestic market. Uh, this type of things are very very important. Understanding the market, understanding the problems in the market, diagnosing those problems, where you have to intervene, not only your intervention, where you have to take government help, where you have to take some businessman or expert opinion, where you have to collaborate with the other people. You
Hmm.
cannot be possible with single person. You have to collaborate with different people. So identifying, for example, if you want to enter into some different product market,
Hmm.
whose market share is high in that particular market, how I can collaborate with that largest player in that particular market. That type of merging, this market share and all these things are very very important.
Thank you, sir. And as we already discussed many of things, so let's next 10 to 15 minutes we are going to interview session, not specific for your journey.
Hmm.
So I'm very curious about why you selected agriculture economy, because most of the biologists are afraid about the maths and statistics, and when we are starting BSc or MSc, but you are preferred to go in these directions and do a great job in your career. So what is motivated you? Means your family background or someone you mentored you, or you just love this subject? How you entered to agriculture economics part?
So that is my brother is also a statistician basically.
Okay, okay.
So with that, I used to read some classic economics books.
Hmm,
Classic. Whenever you read some classic books, definitely you will get some interest.
hmm.
With that interest, even though my rank is good in MSc,
Okay.
I may get some biotechnology or breeding or something like that. I
Hmm,
choose this is my choice actually to
okay.
go into agricultural economics.
Hmm,
The impact will be, of course, any subject is having its own flavor.
hmm,
I am more, interested in this agricultural economics and policy since beginning,
hmm. So
because
if
everything
you
reading is important actually. You have to read which you want to your direction, because
hmm,
if you want to be a biotechnologist, classic books, two three
hmm,
classic books of biotechnology, you will get
hmm,
real interest, real boost,
hmm,
morally and all these things. You will do more and more in that particular area.
hmm. So you prefer to go for the books, not the PPT, and that's all, because nowadays it's the mode of study is based on very selective, actually,
Mm.
PPT based or short videos based, but not the actual classical books are
No.
lost their attraction. But yes, books are the better in that
Yes.
way. And for the large data, I'm
No.
very much interested to know that handling the National Sample Survey Organization like data means
No.
NSSO survey and all. So these are the large data, and with is there any some chance of mistakes we are unintentionally got into the data, because collecting the data is very important than the
Mm.
processing of the data.
Mm.
So because many youngsters are listening to you right
Mm.
now, 200 plus people are lively watch you.
No.
So uh, collection of data, how much is important? What do you say on that?
So actually, your results are as good as your data.
Yes.
Your data is bad, your
Hmm,
results will be bad. If your data is good, your
hmm,
results will be good.
hmm,
People generally ignore that.
hmm,
The scholars and all these things, they collect data, something, and they do without any planning and all these things, they go and collect. And
hmm,
ultimately they keep and they put in the software, the cleaning and all this process. They identify many mistakes. Once nowadays all these econometric models and everything is there,
hmm,
but everything is there. But if you don't have that right data, the
hmm,
accurate data, and if you put a garbage into that, again the garbage will come out.
hmm, hmm,
So the first priority for MSc and PhD research scholars and whomever, your data is as good as possible,
hmm,
as much as possible. That's fundamentally, it's very very important, because nowadays lot of softwares are there. You can use state of the art econometric models, statistical tools, lot of SAS, SPSS, R, Python, so many packages are there. But if your data is bad, you cannot do anything.
hmm,
Data is very very important.
hmm,
Regarding the National Sample Survey Organization's data, earlier during our period, our MSc and PhD, they are not made public. Now, entire data is in public. They collect. They are professional statisticians.
hmm,
They are having very huge, large data sets. They are all the data sets are available in the internet. They are very clean. They are professionally collected. Uh, Only thing is that how accurately they are there. It is your analytical tool. Data is already there. Clean data, sophisticated data is already there.
hmm,
But how you analyze? Because nowadays statistical programs are there, packages are there. You can apply any model, you will get some results.
hmm,
So that should not be. You have to adapt. You have to use the right, appropriate methodology.
hmm,
This methodology should be theory based. That means before doing collection, analysis, and all these things, what is the theory behind it? What is the relationship between input and output? What is the process? And how this for example, how yield of particular crop can be increased? What are the variables?
Hmm.
How we can identify, define each variable correctly, accurately, simply. It's simple and clarity, clear way, so that there is no ambiguity in analysis, there is no ambiguity in collection. Huh? The results are very clear to everyone. So that is very, very important. For large data sets, it is analytical part is very important. For small data, when we collect data as a researcher, it is the collection, data collection is very, very important.
Exactly. Generally, sometime what happened to collect the 100 plant phenotypic data,
Hmm.
people are feel exhausted,
Yes.
and maybe after 50 they impute the 2 and make it 100, but
Hmm.
actually the output is totally different. If
Yes.
you collected the total 100
Ah.
without multiplying it, then the standard deviation, standard
Ah.
errors all are correct, and
Ah.
F test ANOVA will be more accurate.
Yes.
So
Correct.
yes, as many students are there, that's why I put this question to you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And sir, for your field of research, what type of software you are using? Means, is there publicly available, or
Um,
uh, how they can use if they interested in that field?
no. Earlier, for social sciences, simplest software is SPSS.
Okay, SPSS. Yeah, it's
That is.
use everybody, yeah, actually. Hmm.
And some sophisticated type of thing now people are using R
Hmm.
software, which is
Ah,
also open access. SAS they are using for specialized type of total factor productivity or technological progress. There are some different different specified softwares are there developed by the respective authors.
hmm.
uh, but over the years, I have shifted from using lot of database and all these things, empirical research to theoretical research.
Okay.
So when I was young, I used to do lot of work with the data, empirical research, econometric models, and all these things. But over the years, I am becoming old and old. I am like our timeline analysis I discussed. So theoretical type of thing, how different theories are developed by different scientists, how they are really applicable. For example, different flagship schemes are there as Government of India having different flagship soil health call scheme, Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, how they are implemented. What is there may be some good programs with the government, but their implementation is lacking because we are not able to understand whole dynamics properly.
Hmm.
Not only the quantitative data which we require, we have qualitative data, how this entire program is running. What is the theory behind it? What is the whole process? Who are handling this program at every level? What are the bottlenecks? What are the problems they encounter? What are the stakeholders involved in? What are the knowledge gaps in each level? And how to overcome those all these knowledge gaps? This type of quantitative as well as qualitative data and putting together how to solve those particular problems, real world problems in agriculture sector. That is now my analysis more going in towards mixed methods,
Hmm.
both quantitative and qualitative, and solving towards a particular problem of the farming community.
Hmm. Okay. And sir, I have noticed that you have a I-10 index is 100, means you have 100 paper which have cited more than 10 times.
Uh,
So, what is the reason? Means you select your topic in that way, or your research are in that field that it can be used for others stakeholders, like those are using the softwares or to made the agri-tech in that way. Means it's the data which can your paper which can use by a company, or it may be used by the government, or used by the some NGOs. So maybe
Yes,
there is something.
yes. Actually, my work is mostly science,
Hmm.
society, economy, intersection of this science, society, and economy. Science, economy, and society, intersection of these things. And I always work with multidisciplinary perspective.
Okay.
Multidisciplinary perspective, and I try to include as many co-authors as possible from different disciplines.
Okay.
So in this way, if we, for example, if alone we particular field concentrate on particular field, all authors are from the same particular subject, some
Hmm.
will miss some gaps.
Hmm.
If we collaborate with different disciplines, if some different discipline co-authors are there, then we can examine a particular problem in a multidisciplinary perspective. And this, although I am an economist, even this paper is appealing to some extensionists, some biotechnologists, some breeder also, some agronomist also, that is applicable. So as much as possible, I want to have a multidisciplinary perspective to my papers,
Okay.
multiple authors with different disciplines. That's why the number of papers with different the citations are much higher. But there are some papers they are maybe finding relevant for them. That's why they may be citing the paper or something like that.
Hmm.
Even though I am an economist, some agronomist may be seeing interesting, or some biotechnology may be seeing interesting, because there may be some things which may he can. For example, when I am analyzing the value chain of pearl
Hmm.
milk, and how the you know grain size,
Hmm.
grain size is useful. Wow, what is the grain size is one of the attribute.
Okay.
That attribute is very much useful for the breeders to develop their right breeding variety type,
Hmm.
right type of variety. For example, the pearl millet bold seeded with yellow color is more tasty for some particular consumer category. So the what is the price premium? They want to pay premium of 30% higher price. So that information is very much required for the breeder.
Hmm.
He can choose, he can develop the type of variety from the existing varieties where the seed is very bold and seed is having yellow color.
Hmm.
So then his variety, the produced variety will having lot of demand in the market. So we have to link our economic, socio-economic research, consumer research to the breeders' preferences. What breeders wants from this research, consumer research.
Hmm.
Again, fodder markets. Similarly, what type of fodder is preferred? What is the price premium in the sorghum? And that type of a matrix, if we give to breeders, they will develop according to the consumer preferences.
Yes.
So this type of interlinkages we have to explore in the literature.
Okay. So yes. So then that's why it's so fruitful when someone go for the reading, they can have the all the essence and all. And it must be required a very good collaborative set
Yes.
of mindset.
Yes.
So, and for Indian science, collaboration is very challenging. It's something, sometimes it's very challenging. So, how would you manage it? Means collaborative work or collaborations. So, you have planned initially that it is your part, this is my part, or this is my part, or how to manage this thing?
No, collaboration is more of a mutual benefit. Mutual benefit. They have to see some benefit out of us, and
Hmm.
we have to see some benefit from their collaboration. Benefit, mutual benefit is very, very important.
Hmm.
But it will come from the most of the time voluntarily, not from the projects. Sometimes maybe from the projects may come, but
Hmm.
even some personal interactions, some
Hmm.
conferences, some papers they are writing. They are writing on similar lines, irrespective of whether projects, formal projects. We can
Hmm.
collaborate first, then develop some new projects on
Okay.
top of it.
Hmm.
The first collaboration probably starts with the informal interactions, Then we can formalize if possible, or we can start first with some writing some review papers.
Okay, yes.
Then it may formalize through some external grant or seed grant type of thing. So this is
No,
just
yes, it's a very good lesson for us. Those are the young scientists and all. So yes, because right from the right beginning for a good collaboration is very difficult. I think
yes, yes,
we should trust each
yes,
other. Build something.
yes,
Maybe
yes.
it's a review of literature. So for the
Then we
big,
can see whether this person is suitable for collaboration or not.
exactly.
That
So
is very important. Otherwise,
testing.
sometimes what will happen? Some people may
Hmm,
not be best fit. Those
yes.
type of things.
Yes, sir. And as you already noticed that lots of students are there. So, what do you think that next 5 to 10 years, what sector? Because you are economics, so your perspective is different than us.
Mhm.
So, what sector do you think going to boom in agriculture? Means AI, or maybe the others things, or is it going to stop the traditional studies when the IT and AI going to predominate? What do you think?
No, actually, agriculture is biotechnology is the core. Now, the lot of biotechnological innovations are coming up, CRISPR and all these things. We have
Hmm.
not yet explored the CRISPR technology in most of the commodities. That is, even CRISPR technology is regulatorily is not as banned as that of GMOs and all these things. So
Hmm.
GMOs are still restricted, but
Hmm.
CRISPR is open. You can do
Hmm.
whatever you wish. There is unlimited scope for using CRISPR type of technology near future. That
Exactly.
5 6 years. But
Hmm.
AI, precision agriculture, all these niche areas are coming in a big way
Hmm.
across the value chain. Across the
Hmm.
value chain,
Hmm.
maybe in the in input marketing or output marketing, post-harvest technologies, farm machinery, no? And
Hmm.
tractorization, mechanization, drones,
Hmm.
spraying. This type of new innovations helped by AI. It may
Hmm.
take some time. It may not
Okay.
be because technological maturity may take some lot of time.
Hmm.
It may take some 2 to 3 years for a good AI-based technologies to come, at least field testing level, and they will once they come, they will they will growth like anything. But it may
Hmm.
take some time for but biotechnology, traditional breeding is also not ignored. That is also be there. This, but especially the concentration has to go to, especially in India, pulses, oil seeds, fruits, vegetables, and also dairy, meat, and that sectors will. There is a lot of growth coming up.
Hmm.
Value added products, high value products, just those type of things.
Yes. And your one of the report in BT Cotton is
Ah,
very encouraging in that way, because I'm working on jute. My
ah,
PhD was on BT jute.
okay.
So it's also non-food crop, and
Ah,
maybe in the future there is a hope for that.
okay.
So do you think that uh, PT technology or JM technology, if it is well tested and well verified, then it will be going to profitable for us?
Definitely, because the BT GMO technologies, there is no proper evidence. That's why BT cotton wet paper I gave most of the arguments are just based on the facts and
Hmm,
the data,
hmm,
factual data.
hmm,
But neither these NGOs or even government side, there is no proper data to argue for or against.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
First thing is that you have to create a lot of data. Data scope is there because
hmm,
many technologies has to go beyond CRISPR.
hmm,
Some GMO type of technologies are required
hmm.
even outside.
Obviously, yes.
So that Even for example, edible oils.
Hmm.
They are importing about 60%, 70% of edible oils. There is a huge scope for GM technologies coming in that area.
Hmm.
GM mustard is already there. There is a not only that, GM mustard is one characteristic probably, but based on that, in future there is a lot of scope because in ICR laboratories, for example, Indian Institute of Pulses Research laboratories, they stalled their GMO laboratories. Their
Hmm.
work, GMO operations, they stalled there because it's all in a legal dilemma, legal question. So
Hmm.
they stalled their GMO, laboratory work.
Hmm.
Once there is a clarity from GMO, regulatory framework, and there is a lot scope for future GMOs.
Hmm.
As GM technology, GM cotton, we have estimated that 3.47 lakh crores
Hmm.
benefit, and in 2011-12 prices. But in today's prices 10 lakh crore rupees in today's prices.
Hmm.
Much huge benefit is there. If you use these technologies, say in edible oil sector, huge, because we are importing about 2 lakh crore edible oils into India every year.
Hmm.
And the cumulative there is a huge potential is there.
Exactly. Yes. So
Genetic potential is really genetic manipulation potential is huge.
yeah, yes, US because it's already tested by US and others countries.
Most of the countries they released their even brinjal released in Bangladesh. It's working
Bangladesh,
very well.
yes.
BT
Hmm.
mustard is released in Australia and some other countries, some
Hmm.
of the African countries. Most of the 90% BT soybean is BT origin only. Maize is also BT.
Hmm.
So, canola is again.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So we are actually right now we're also collecting the feedback and certificate applications forms through the YouTube, and you can see that. Uh, can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, yes, I'm seeing.
So these are the people already they are applying for the certificates mainly, but so you can see that lots of students are there, corporate professionals, there are different countries, people are applying, and this form is live, means it's filled, and we are taking 2-3 hours after the ending of the session, so
Okay.
people can fill that form and give their, and lot of people are 4 and 5 give you, so love their speakers. So sir, last question for
Okay.
the all the students, mainly the young students and young PhDs. What is your suggestion for us or for them for the future?
Future, first of all, there are two things actually. One is your potential. Your where is your skill that you have to identify,
Hmm.
and that you have to match with where is the demand.
Hmm.
Match your skills with demand. That's where only interest is having interest in biotechnology is not sufficient. But
Yes.
whether you are having the necessary skills to become a best biotechnologist,
Hmm.
whether you are having necessary skills to become a best scientist in particular field, these two has to match, and somehow you have to internally you have to examine yourself, take time, examine, because it's a very competitive world.
Hmm.
To thrive in this competition, you need to develop your own niche, small area where your skills will match with your potential and your the demand of the society. In the long run, you take that focused niche, at least you work in that particular area at least for 10 years.
Exactly,
It's
sir.
a long-term game.
Hmm.
You cannot get results in 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. Maybe after 3 years, you may fail also. But
Hmm.
it's a long-term game. Maybe stick with particular field. Choose particular field in a very cautiously, and stick to that particular field as long as possible, unless and otherwise there is some good reasons for to deviate from that
Okay.
particular field.
Hmm. So staying in a particular field is important. You can.
Yes.
Okay. And
Because the knowledge is an accumulation, it's an outcome of accumulation. Anything. You have to accumulate more and more knowledge to get, because if you are accumulating, all of a sudden after fifth year you will get all of a sudden 5 high impact journal articles. First 4 years you may not get anything. Only fourth and fifth year you will get all these high impact journals. You have to have patience in research. Patience is very, very important.
Exactly.
Some setbacks will be there always in research. Maybe some good guide may not be there, some cooperative friend may not be there, some co-author may not be that much cooperative, some are beyond your control. All these problems will be there in the research. But what is in your control, that you can keep intact. You go on, move on, you will get some results.
Thanks, Ters. So now we are closing sessions. And thank you so much, Dr. Reddy
Thank
sir,
you.
for
Thank you.
such an insightful and thought-provoking sessions. Your journey across research, policy, and technology has truly given us a lot of reflection on specifically how young scientists and researchers can contribute meaningfully to agriculture and plant sciences in today's evolving world. From understanding the importance of data-driven policymaking to appreciating the real-world impact on agriculture innovation, today's discussion has been full of practical wisdom and impression. To all our audience members for around the world, thanks for your engaging questions and active participation on that. And it's your curiosity and passion that make forum like Bioingene so special. So thanks everyone for gathering today's webinar and make it successful. Once
Thank you.
again,
Thank you. Thank you
big
all the
thanks, sir.
students, whomever participated, all the participants and the organizers, and giving me this opportunity. Wonderful opportunity to interact.
Yes, it's our
Thank you.
pleasure, and your talk will be recorded in YouTube. So many people are going to watch it over and over, and sometime when they are grown and they are realize that okay, this meaning is that. So same videos give some better perspectives when our knowledge is acquired with the classes when we got to the BSc to MSc and all. And thanks for accepting and such a short time you were coming here and give us such a beautiful talk and a lot of time for this platform. And sir, we'll best we are very happy and best wishes for your future and we try to connect with you.
Yes, yes.
And whenever you need some outreach type of things, please contact us. We have 24,000 people
Okay.
in Bioingene. Those are plant-loving people, and not only from agriculture, also plant sciences. And 95 plus countries are enrolled. So we do that for the free for everyone, so we can communicate your any study material or any policy making related paper which can shareable, we can share with our platform.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much, sir.